Okay, so let's talk about some of the elements of what's going on with the dynamics here, because a lot of people will come up with the morality of it all. I want to set that aside and just deal with the evolutionary psychology elements of going outside of your relationship, because men and women do it for different reasons. I don't know if you caught any of the stuff that I've talked about in that area before. Are you familiar
Mm.
with why men go outside and why women go outside?
Why women go outside?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
yes, yes,
Yeah,
I
why
I
women would go
understand.
outside of the relationship. So just to
Yes.
recap for the people watching, like the problem that she's got is she's got a security issue with the whole thing. Like she wants to know that he's not going to remove his attention, his resources, his love, his protection, his provisioning to her and the soon
Yeah,
to be child that comes, with that. Like, does that sound about accurate to you?
that's very accurate. Yeah.
So that's what that's what women are concerned about. So when a guy cheats, she doesn't really care that much. It's generally she's going to ask questions like, "Well, did you love her? Did you take her to the restaurant that we go to? Are you going on vacation with her? Is she now your girlfriend?" Like the last thing I'm assuming that you want from what I've, learned with all the reading that I've done is that the last thing you want is a woman to show up at your front door knocking on it and she's pregnant with his child, yeah?
Yeah, that is literally the worst thing I could ever think of.
Right. But as far as him going outside and having some safe fun, you've set some rules, and your rules are based on the use of Instagram. So no emojis, the use of disappearing messages, no WhatsApp calls. So really
Mm.
just like a one night stand, like a quick encounter.
Yeah,
Okay. And why are you okay with that?
it seems disconnected. Uh, I guess like my fear of him creating any new connection emotionally to any
Mhm,
other woman is removed when it is a one night stand.
mhm,
But we did actually talk a bit more in depth about what comes with one night stands, and the condom wrapper that I found, he said it was from a one night stand. It was from a girl visiting the island, and he said it's a lot more public going that route if he's out with his friends out in a club. Um,
mhm.
that route has its own challenges too, and it can be a lot more public. More people may see him actually making a move in that case. So he asked me, is that something I've even thought about versus a quiet local girl who, yeah,
Would you be okay if he had a steady side girlfriend?
no.
So it's just got to be like a visitor, a traveler, a one night thing, and that's it.
Uh, well, you said steady second girlfriend. The word girlfriend, I don't like that word. It needs to be more disconnected than that for me, even more.
Yeah, one of the things I've heard in conversations quite often. In fact, I had a conversation with a guy about this the other day, and he was telling me, his girl was okay with it, but she would prefer if he used prostitutes. Just because there's as little connection as possible,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So back to the point of what men are seeking and what women are seeking. So women want the security, they want the provisioning, they want the love. Like it's been
Hmm.
a thing for thousands of years. I mean, today we live in a modern society where women don't really need the protection of a man. You hear the toxic feminists say things like, I need a man like a woman needs a bicycle, or like a fish needs a bicycle, sort of thing. And that's
Yeah.
fine. But, for thousands of years, if a woman became pregnant and she didn't have the protection, the provisioning, and the love of the guy that fathered the child, she was at very real risk of not being able to provide for, and like anything critical beyond that, obviously. So it's ingrained within men and women, right? So he's actually going about it a fairly reasonable way. One of the things that I read and I've heard you say, when it comes to him going outside of the whole relationship and the trust thing, is you want to be careful with that. From what I understand, you don't want to have too much in the way of rules for him. Like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Like,
Yeah.
the more rules you have, the more difficult it becomes, and it becomes an area that you're going to police, right? Like, it should be
Yeah,
something simple.
exactly.
Yeah, like it should be something simple. Like, look, don't take her out anywhere where I would be embarrassed, where family and friends would see us. No overnights, no vacations. Ideally, tourists only that come and go.
Yeah.
keeping it simple, if you're going to do it, is going to be a better way to do it. Like, one of the things that I was concerned about when I read the email, which is why I offered to bring you on, is like, you almost seem like you're at the point where you had difficulty like getting the trust back. And the problem is that you're pregnant, right? Like, you've got a kid coming, and a child needs his or her father.
Mhm.
And I think one of the worst things that women can do is leave leave a father that absolutely loves and adores you just because he steps out, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Um, like, you do that and you think that you're going to replace him with somebody else. That's not a good scene, because the most risky thing to a small child, especially if it's a girl, is a non-blood related man,
Hmm.
or even, step sibling, if he's got a son in tow or something like that.
Yeah,
That could expose your kid to a lot of risk. Like, nobody's going to love that kid any more than what he will.
yeah,
Nobody's going to provide, protect, and preside over the family and the child any better than what he will. So you're doing the right thing by keeping him around. Again, setting aside the morality, because everybody has their own views and opinions. The thing is human beings aren't particularly good at monogamy. We kind of suck at it, for being honest. I talk about it in a chapter or two of my book, and I've talked about it in many different videos. But it's just a reality of the way the world works. And it's very different when men and women do it. Like, when women do it, she's usually done. Like, women don't want to generally step out on a relationship if she sees him as her hypergamous best option. She wakes up,
100%. Hmm.
like, you look at your husband and you're in love with him and you see him as the best that you can do, and you're happy with your life, and he takes care of things, and the bills are
Yeah,
paid and the house is looked after, and he's competent and he's interesting, he's influential. Like, if you have all of those things, leaving a guy is about the stupidest thing that you can do, thinking that you can replace him and do him better, right?
exactly. And I think it's very important for women to choose men who have had a lot of experience with women.
Yeah,
That
why do you
way
say
I
that?
know, that way I know that when it comes to him dealing with women, that he's not gonna be so attached emotionally. So I know, like I said in the email, that he's gonna be able to be with these girls and just leave it. Like, even when I read the Instagram message, my heart sank because he said something to them that was like all a little like, soft. And I was like, why did you say that to her? Like,
What did he say
he,
that triggered
I
you?
think he sent like a gift that was like an hibiscus flower, and he said, um, "This
Did you
is your
say
soul."
gift or GIF, as in GIF?
GIF,
GIF. Okay.
GIF, yeah.
Okay. So he sent
And
a
so
flower.
this girl is like a naturey girl, what I gathered, and he said, "Your soul. This is your what your soul looks like," or something like that, right? And I was
Mhm.
really upset with that mainly, and I was like,
That's interesting.
"How? Why did you? What does that even mean? Why are you sending her that?" And he said, "The It's bullshit. Do not look into that. This is what these girls want to hear."
Mhm.
And
And
then
he's right, because it's
that's why I was
essentially
like, no
him running
emojis,
game. Yeah, so it's essentially him, running game, but
playing the game. Yeah.
by playing the game. But I mean, like, what you're saying is you can't use the tools of the game, or you can't use all the tools of the game. So I'm fine with you talking to them, but you can't use emojis or gifs to
Yeah.
accomplish what I'm blessing you to accomplish, simply because you don't want that to turn into romance, right?
And do you think that's reasonable?
Look, the fewer the rules that you issue in scenarios like this, the better off you're going to be, right? And what I found from my experience dealing with a lot of the guys and gals that I've coached in this area is that the biggest thing is she doesn't want to be embarrassed. She
Hmm.
doesn't want some random woman knocking on your front door saying, "Surprise, I have your husband's baby in my belly." Those seem to be the two, and she doesn't want any kind of diseases. So those seem to be the 2 to 3 main areas. And if you limit yourself to just that, and if you live in I mean, you've already revealed that you live on an island. So, I mean, if you live on an island, then you can get to the point where it's like, fine, just deal with tourists. I want them to come and go, like,
Hmm.
the winds when they flow in different directions in the morning. And that'll keep things simple for you. And it gives him the opportunity to still be a father, to scratch an itch when he needs it, and you give him the space to do that, but he's still able to provide and like you're still a family, right? You still
Yeah.
love each other. You're still intimate together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So it sounds like you've got it all sorted out.
Yeah, I think we do. I think since we had that conversation, and like you said earlier, he just put my mind at ease. He settled me down and just said, well, he just asked me to trust him. And I realized, you know what? It's going to be so much easier if I do this than to try and police what he's doing. He knows now what I don't want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
He can choose to follow that if he wishes,
Mm-hmm.
the emojis and whatnot. But if he doesn't, then I still trust him that he'll do the right thing.
Yeah, and surprise, surprise, this is not a common type of marriage. This is not a common type of relationship. But if you're going to allow him some wiggle room to exercise his options, you're going about it the right way. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.